15 love.
This young lady, I gotta say, I love the look at those socks. What you can get away with as a teenager.
Didn't you used to wear socks like that back in the day?
That's not spoon that in on her second main draw appearance. Came here as a 17-year-old, lost in the qualifying, the second round of qualifying to Johanna Konta. How both their lives have changed in the intervening seasons.
Well, you're seeing immediately the power of Naomi Osaka, and you also see how well she's handling this moment. The first game, particularly for a big server, is important, and she's establishing 40 love, and she's here to play.
Let us. 40-15.
The youngster hasn't done anything sort of stand out this year. She's won 14 matches on the tour, lost 16. I think her big moment came in Tokyo at the Pan Pacific at sort of October in 2016 when she made the final. That was a big deal. But we've all known about her for a while, and she's got a top coach in her camp in David Taylor, an Aussie who took Anna Ivanovic to top 10 in the world. Alicia Molik was the hitting partner of Conchita Martinez. I think we can say that.
And Martina Hingis.
And Martina. I think we can say that David knows his way around the women's tour.
Yeah, we didn't get to finish that thought because we went off of him. But the thing about David is he's a hard worker. He expects a lot from his players. Sometimes that's hard to deal with on a daily basis. But with Sam and with Alicia, both
Angelique Kerber
similar players in the fact that they had huge weapons, but they're a little all over the place, and that's how Naomi Osaka is. It's just he loves to develop patterns in practice. Two outside, two inside in forehands, one outside out, and you just over and over pattern, and that's good for a young player. A couple of weeks ago, Sam, I was courtside in her match in Toronto with Karolina Pliskova, and it went a set all, and it was looking very dicey for the world number one. And then Naomi Osaka had to pull out with a stomach strain, a strain in her stomach muscle in the first game of the third set. I mean, who does that? That was foresight to this tournament.
I would say, though, that she's had a problem with her stomach muscle during the clay court season, and she carried on playing and made it far worse. So I think learning on the job, isn't she? She's a kid. She's new to all this.
Well, no one knew about it until Dave went out there. Did you hear the coaching? Were you on this match?
They had to decide. He said, can you carry on?
He said, if it hurts, you stop. Because you know what happened to you earlier this year. He said that to her on the court, so that's why she stopped playing.
Well, you can be out 6 to 8 weeks with an abdominal strain. They are nasty beasts, those things.
And they come back to bite you when you don't expect it.
40-30.
Seems extraordinary to say this, but Angelique Kerber just won 25 matches on tour. She's 16 on the Porsche race to Singapore. That's the 16th best player in the world this season, defending a lot of points.
Game, Kerber.
Good openers for both women.
One game all.
Safely aboard in this first round match. This is a match which, if you want to have a look at the draw, is it right at the bottom section of the top half. But it seems extraordinary to say that the 29-year-old from Bremen in northern Germany hasn't won a tournament since she won it 12 months ago.
That's extraordinary, isn't it? What a drop-off in confidence, and that's really what it is. if the confidence isn't there for Angie, she's never been one of these players that can
15
step up
love.
and hit you off the court. Last year, one of the great things about her game was she could hit winners. She could retrieve as well as anyone, but she was willing to step up and go for certain shots. That's not been the case this year.
Love.
She was ever so close to maybe going on the other side of the hill or the mountain against Muguruza at Wimbledon. One of the great matches we've seen this year.
Court 2, packed.
Unbelievable.
Yep, wonderful match.
Muguruza went on to win the tournament after that victory. And I saw Garbiñe after it, and she said, after the tournament, she said, that was the match that turned it around for her. Because they were both struggling in 2017.
Love. Forty, 15. Game, Osaka.
Oh, it's a rather confident start for the youngster on serve so far in this opening set.
Osaka leads
2-1
2
early
games to
draws.
1 first set.
Early afternoon on the Arthur Ashe Stadium. The roof is closed and the fans are coming in to take shelter from the rain. All of the courts are players suspended.
Yeah, it's interesting, Sam. I was standing out. I was working just outside the stadium, and as soon as the rain started coming down, because everyone has a centre court ticket here that has a centre court ticket, that obviously can go out and watch all the other matches because there's so many great matches going on. And then all of a sudden, with about 20 minutes into the rain break, it looked like everyone was heading into centre court. Everyone was heading into Arthur Ashe Stadium like it was a night match. It was just a line to get in here, so it could take a while to fill up this court. But it is the only match playing right now.
It's 10:30.
Did you manage to sell a few ice creams out there while you're outside? Is that what you do when you're on the concourse?
I tell you what, if I wanted to sell something out there, I probably would have.
Jackets.
Yep. Jackets and umbrellas. It is so cold today.
Oh, that's nice. Well, always an English woman. I might be in New York, but I always pack my brolly, whatever the weather.
30 all.
It's just in nature in you, isn't it? Just to pop it in your bag.
It's innate, yes.
We Australians, we pop our sunscreen. That's what we do. We pop sunscreen and you pop an umbrella. What does that tell you about your upbringing?
And my cagoule, which is the puffer jacket to translate.
So today, this match is going to be about Naomi Osaka controlling, being tempered in when to go for the big shots. And it's the one area that she absolutely has improved on, her maturity, her shot selection, and it will have to be at its best today to beat Kerber.
Game Kerber.
These two in their first meeting just feeling each other out. A gentle start to this opening match. Now, don't forget you can stay connected to the US Open on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat and YouTube, everywhere. So join the conversation with #US Open. In terms of patterns of play,
15.
She said that's Dave Taylor's sort of imprint on his players. What do you think he would have her patterns of play?
Hard to say, honestly, because with Sam and with Alicia, it was all forehands. Forehands, look for forehands. So with Alicia and with Sam in particular, it was how can we set up a pattern of practice points and practice
15
drills to set up how to play your points under pressure. With Naomi, she can hit a backhand as hard as she can hit a forehand. So therefore it would be, I think, a lot more of going cross-court deep and hard until you get a short ball to go line. So in other words, you sort of have
30, 15.
tennis. Red light, green light. Red light is, okay, you're in trouble here, play the percentages. And then when the short ball comes, green light, go for your best shot and hit it. Be aggressive. Osaka is sort of like a Madison Keys type of player to me. She's still younger, a lot younger than Madison Keys. And the maturation of a player through these 1 to 2 years now for Osaka are huge in her development, because Madison Keys would just pick the wrong time to go for a ball down the line because she wasn't fit enough or fast enough as well. And Osaka's getting there to where Madison Keys is now. She can hit a winner from anywhere. She has that natural power, but it's getting the footwork organised, being fit enough to stay in the long match with someone like a Kerber, and knowing when to go for the big shot.
First moment of pressure for the youngster. She's going to be so good. Oh dear.
Deuce.
I mean, the irony that we're talking about Madison Keys and how much better she is over the last couple of years, but yet she had Madison Keys down 5-1 on this court last year when Madison was one of the top, I believe, 12 seeds at the time the tournament was on. Madison Keys, of course, playing later this evening. First up on Arthur Ashe in the night session.
Advantage Osaka.
And I love this, Sam. Why go down the line? when you don't have to. She went 4 or 5 big forehands cross court, stayed with that rally, and then waited for the one to go inside out or down the line on.
Very neatly done. Osaka showing this Ashe crowd. She's going to trouble the defending champion. We are on serve in this
Osaka
opening
leads
set.
3 games to 2 first set.
3-2. It's a moment that Angie Kerber, I'm sure, has thought a lot about this year, defending her title here at the US Open. It hasn't been the 12 months that she would like by any script you could write, but she could finish the year very strongly with a good run here in New York.
A pretty
15 love.
normal Angie Kerber type of a match we're already seeing. Not making a lot of errors, hitting a pretty good ball, but the bottom line is Osaka, what she's doing beautifully is she has the same amount of unforced errors as Kerber, and that's impressive because she's going for way more off the ground.
15 all.
If you had to say a couple of aspects that Kerber's not doing as well as she was last year, where would you sort of highlight?
Hitting winners.
Okay.
Not being as aggressive, not being up inside the court, particularly the forehand down the line. When she's confident, playing well, that's the shot that is an indicator of where her confidence lies. I think that Angie worked unbelievably hard to get into the position of winning the matches she did last year. I question if she's had that same type of a motivation in practice this year.
Oh, there it is. That's what we saw 12 months ago. That's what's managed to stash over $20 million in her bank account.
14-15.
Yeah, playing up on the baseline with the forehand. And the inside out and down the line forehand is where her confidence lies. And this has been a good start, I have to say, from both players. Very similar to last night's unbelievable match with Halep and Sharapova.
Game, Kerber.
Well, she'll be happy with those opening service games as she levels up in this first set.
3 games all, first set.
It was very interesting. I first saw Naomi Osaka when she played Sam Stosur in Stanford back in 2014 when she was just a kid. She also played Andrea Petkovic that week, and I think us in the media all sort of went, whoa. But Petko, you know what Petko's like. She was asked, what's the Osaka forehand? How does that feel? She goes, it's off the chain. And it doesn't need a translation. You know what that means.
Yeah, it's crazy. I talked to Madison Keys before she played
15 love.
Before she played Naomi Osaka last year, and I said, isn't it going to be nice for you to go out on the court and actually be the player that is the more consistent one for the first time probably in your whole career? Because Naomi just is spraying balls all over the place. She's not doing that anymore, Sam. She's a player that's more consistent, more disciplined, and that is what Dave has brought to the picture. Discipline in practice translates to discipline on the match court.
And
you know, Dave's a real coach, and prior to that, You know, there's the coach's coach, and he's the coach's coach. Not a player that played on the tour, not a player that sort of learned on the go like a lot of the parents do when they have their kids on the road. It's just a fact. He played junior tennis and he went to coach. So he studies and he works on his players and their games, and he's proven it.
Started off on the tour as Conchita Martin's hitting partner.
What
you were saying about the practice, I was wandering around the grounds Sunday morning. She was out there with David Taylor. She was playing some practice points with a few other players in the draw, and you would have thought she was on the match court because it was so disciplined and so intense. There's a young lady who is going to win very big one day. Whether it's this afternoon, who knows? But it's exciting. We're on serve in this opening set.
4-3, first set.
Women's first round match featuring the Japanese number 1, Naomi Osaka, against the defending champion and 6th seed from Germany, Angelique Kerber. Early stages. Champion here with new balls.
Lofting.
Already a number of double faults in this particular match for Angie Kerber. She's never been the most consistent of servers. It's her 4th double of the match. A lot of pressure on from the returner though. No chance if you don't hit the ball out of the center of the court against Osaka, because she can hit a winner on anything.
Love it.
Unbelievable natural power. I was thinking that was in slow motion. That's about as hard as you and I have ever hit the ball.
Combined. Yeah, you're right though, she's enjoying these conditions with the roof closed. It's very, very clean out there.
Oh, that is a huge mistake. That's what you have to learn as a player. I'm playing against someone who's not that comfortable at the net. And you saw Kerber made that volley, and it was a bit of a shocker of a volley. You have to just make that ball over the net, under the net. You're all good. Sam, I know you. We work together a lot.
40-30.
The scores, the old school scoring. Mark that last point, because that could be pivotal. Last point.
I will bookmark that. 15-30. Should have made a pass.
But again, that's the discipline, Sam. To play that many balls, she couldn't do that 2 years ago. No way.
I'll do the marking, you do the talking, and we'll go just fine. Yeah, pressure moments here for Kerber. Oh, I'm sure about a few sort of sharp intake of breath when she first saw this draw. Everyone has known for a while just potentially how good Naomi could be. Is already 45 in the world, just 19 years of age.
Advantage Osaka.
This is where you have to just get the first serve in.
And there's the break. And it really came out of nowhere. And this Arthur Ashe crowd is, I would say, about 2/3 full. They're just waking up. I don't know if they remember from last year, but they're just waking up to how good and exciting this youngster is on a tennis court. You know, she's a sweetheart. I remember her saying that, her idol is Serena Williams, and when she first saw Serena Williams in the locker room a couple of years ago in Australia, she hid in the corner and looked at her phone and hid because she was too scared to say anything. Scared that Serena would see her.
Very sharp. Very, very sharp.
But has
Velocity.
court presence.
Oh, well, I would have court presence as well if I hit the ball that big.
And believe me, she can do fashion. This one. Oh, well done, Angie. Right back at you.
Love 30.
Certain things that can improve still. Osaka's still young. But this shot right here, that's speed that she'll improve on as she gets older. I think in 2 or 3 years she gets to that ball. That is a shot
30.
she doesn't miss last year. Love 30 to get back into, possibly into this set.
Well, at 2-all in this opening set, she faced an early break point, dealt with it very well, ended up winning that service game. I'm sure Kerber wished she could have pinched that one. That would have made things slightly more comfortable in this first set. One break point dispatched with, still has to face another.
30-40.
For Naomi, she's had the experience of playing on this court, Sam, and that's huge. But she also has nightmares of losing leads on this court.
Oh! Well,
Angie had to take that ball out of the air. That one right there, she should have taken out of the air. It would not have given Osaka enough time to get back into position. Instead, left in no woman's land. Passed. I say no man's land, but it's still women.
I'm with you. I'm with the program. Running the show out here.
Again though, Sam, not enough depth on the ground strokes from Kerber, and therefore as soon as it's short, Naomi Osaka is just rocketing the ground strokes. Even Kerber can't defend.
Set point for the Japanese number one.
Let us.
This is turning into a nightmare for the defending champion. The teenager is off and running, and she takes this opening set by 6 games to 3 in just over half an hour.
Second set.
It's the best of 3 sets.
Kerber to serve.
Osaka first blood to the Japanese player. Kerber, the defending champion, starting the second set. Last year there was so much enjoyment on the tennis court. There was a determination about the former world #1, but I think this year the main expression has been stress and worry.
There's no question it's stress and worry, but it's stress and worry because she's playing against a player that is so dangerous. I mean, Osaka's not giving you a lot for free. She's hitting 11 winners, 12 unforced errors, Osaka. She's serving beautifully, winning the majority of her own service games, and Kerber's having a nightmare on second serves. So when she's missing the first serve, she is losing. She's only winning 25% of the second serve. And look at that ball toss, it's horrendous.
Pains increasing here for the defending champion, who's only won 2 points behind her second serve in this entire match. And a set and a break is going to be a horrible vantage point for Angelique Kerber.
15-14.
Has to get the first serve in the court because Angie can defend against a lot of players and still win the match. But against Osaka, Osaka is not going to stop hitting. So if she's hitting it in, Kerber has no chance. Because at some point you run out of room.
Game, Osaka.
Set and a break now for the teenager. And she is going to be a tough one to stop here. Playing her just second major, second US Open. Extraordinary. Played quite a few matches coming in this summer, qualified and made the last 16 in Toronto in Canada.
That's where she had to
and that's
stop.
where she had to retire at 1 set all, coming back up Pliskova, taking that second set, looking good in that match. The world #1 shaking, and then hasn't been out to play hasn't played matches since, but has had time with Dave on the practice court.
But think about that for a second, Sam. She's a set all with the world #1. She's playing very well in that match. And she has to stop through injury, not because she lost. She was actually in a winning position in that match. I felt she had total momentum. And so the smart thing to do was, like, physically, let's get you right for the US Open because I know how well you can play now.
15 love.
And she's proving here today.
Might be worth mentioning that she's never beaten a top 10 player. She's 0 for 9 actually, but she's had great wins over Sam Stosur, Dominika Cibulkova, Svitolina and Savastova. And they're all worried about her, aren't they?
Oh,
she was the player unseeded in the draw.
Other than Sharapova.
Possibly Katerina Makarova, who's been playing well. There's been a few of them, but she's one of them that it was watch out.
Yeah, there were a few unseeded players now that I think about it. Sloane Stevens, not seeded. I mean, back-to-back semi-finals in Toronto and Cincinnati. Of course, Makarova, who
won in Washington.
Osaka, who had Pliskova, a set all, and we know is dangerous. Madison Keys.
She's seeded.
Is she seeded?
She's seeded.
Well, because her ranking, because of the injuries, she's still seeded.
She's
Okay.
the 15th seed.
Okay, so, but I mean, so many unseeded players, and of course the big one, Sharapova. This is a big game. Because it just sets the tone for the rest of the match that yes,
15
Osaka
and
can
13.
break serve, but Kerber is not going anywhere. We know the youngster has not beaten someone like this in her career, where defending champion, this is a huge stage. She reminds me a little of Kvitova. Kvitova's super relaxed off the court, but then she gets on the court, come on, and what comes out of their mouths. Like,
Well, right now,
13,
she's not thinking
14.
about winning this match. She's thinking about just stopping the run of games against her. 4 in a row since she levelled up at 3-all in the first set. Just wants to feel like she's back in this match.
that's one of those off-the-chain forehands that Andrea Petkovic was talking about when she faced her. It's just enormous speed.
It's a sentence that doesn't make any sense, but you know what it means.
Well, you being English, you're so literal. You're like, well, what does that
Advantage,
mean?
Osaka.
Let me explain it to you, being Australian.
I know exactly.
Kind
what
of
it
ruined
means.
the English language.
Oh, it's 5 games in a row now for the teenager.
Osaka leads 2 games to love, a second set.
This is the maturity of Osaka now, is not to go for something out of control, down break points, and getting herself back into these games. And then, look, she felt like going for that one down the line. You're up game point. Very different to being break point down and losing your service game.
Fifteen love. Love.
What a difference the first serve makes for Angelique Kerber. Throughout the match, 69% in, winning 73% of them. Second serve, 20%.
40, love.
It truly is the one area that I cannot believe. I don't know what happened. I cannot believe she hasn't worked on more in her career.
feel a lot better, but it's still very much the youngster in charge out here. Osaka leading by a set
Osaka
and a break.
leads 2-1, second set, and by 1-0.
We've got a young lady out here who is growing up right in front of our eyes, showing so much maturity, who has learned from her experiences out on this vast Arthur Ashe Stadium from a wonderful match against Madison Keys last year, which she ended up losing, but it was a great battle. But we're seeing a very different player 12 months on, and the defending champion, well, she's got her on the ropes.
Love.
Good. The composure in the face of relaxation, but intensity.
It's just a hard situation for Kerber, because Kerber's that type of player who's going to make you hit winners to beat her. But at some point, Kerber's going to have to start being more aggressive, or this match is over. There's nothing that Angie Kerber can do on that break. That's a 108-mile-an-hour serve.
40 love.
She's hitting spots beautifully, and then she's not backing down on the next shot. She's backing herself, as Dave Taylor would say to her, back yourself.
Followed by 90-mile-an-hour forehand. There's still more tennis out here, but Osaka, inspirational from her right now. And this Arthur Ashe crowd, well, they've just woken up to
3-1,
the talent in front of us here.
I mean, it's incredible how mature and how much better she is 2 years later. She was playing well last year when she played Madison Keys, but her immaturity got the best of her in that match. Still a long way to go. The difference is that Kerber's going to give her opportunities to hit winners, because she doesn't hit the ball anywhere near as big as Keys.
15 love.
There's one non-negotiable out here for the German. She's got to hold serve in this game. She will not go 2 breaks down against what is potentially one of the best servers in our sport. Certainly will be in the next couple of seasons.
And for Angie, it's so difficult, isn't it, Sam? Because you have to actually try and slow yourself down right now.
And
then a couple of misses like that give you the thought process, if you're Kerber, oh, just try and make her play, she'll get tight, she'll miss, but then she rocks up and hits 3 or 4 winners clean off the court. So she's a difficult opponent, Osaka, because of that. The second serve is just getting handled today.
Break. How good is this?
I mean, look at this backhand. Look how low she gets to the ground and just absolutely clobbers it down the line. I mean, a good effort from Kerber just to get that back, but that's been all day long from Naomi Osaka.
Can you believe it's a chance here after that's now a chance for a second double break. She She's an interesting character. She only spent her formative years in Japan. She's not actually fluent in Japanese, and I think still struggling slightly with the media from that part of the world. They don't quite get her sort of American humour, and she's quite quirky. You can be quirky though when you hit the ball that well. I think her press conferences are going to go just fine from now on.
Advantage Osaka.
I mean, you are just saying to your opponent, okay, that's a deep ball, have to go back cross. I hit a good shot, and just there's nothing you can do. Oh my goodness. Hello. Complete winner off the return.
Wake up, Arthur Ashe, because court, this stadium. Osaka's on the verge of a massive upset here.
Second set, and by 1 set to love.
You might need to blink a couple of times, because yeah, that is the correct scoreline. The defending champion is down a set and a double break against a 19-year-old from Japan, playing just her second ever US Open main draw. And she stands on the verge here of her best ever victory on tour.
There is nothing that Angelique Kerber has done horrendously today. Is she missing a lot? 16 unforced errors, that's quite a few for her. But this is just a buzzsaw she's run into. I mean, could she hit? The only critique would be get the ball deeper. That's the only critique.
Let second serve.
And the second serve has been horrendous for her today. So that's always been her Achilles heel, but she gets away with it with so many people because they don't possess the power that this young lady has. I think the only chance Kerber has in this match is if Naomi Osaka starts to remember what happened last year on this court, being up 5-1 in the third against Madison Keys. Because if Naomi Osaka doesn't make 20 more unforced errors in this match, it's over. So again, Sam, an unforced error there from Osaka. Kerber has had a few chances to break serve today, but unable to take advantage of one of those break points, and that's been the difference maker as well. The thing that I'm impressed is that she's not overplaying. It's the one thing about Naomi through the years is that she feels like she has to overplay and pull the trigger on the wrong shot. But today, anytime she's down in the game or down break point, she's really played a solid point. And how frustrating for Torben Beltzer in the hat.
Yeah, Monbiate on the right there, just sitting to the right of your picture above Torben. Can you believe this? And when they walked onto this court exactly 1 hour ago, Angie Kerber knew that this was a
Osaka leads
difficult
5 games to 1.
I don't think she had any concept, nor did many of us have any concept just how well this youngster could play, who has never ever beaten a top 10 player in 9 attempts.
Sam, we have to start asking the question of the psyche of Angelique Kerber, where it is now.
15 love.
After the year that she had last year and the year that now she's had this year. I just wonder how motivated she is to keep doing this at this level over and over again and not have the results that she had last year. I mean, it becomes not embarrassing, but kind of embarrassing in these moments to come out on this court and everyone. She has nothing to prove to any of us for the rest of her life and career. She had an amazing year last year and she's had an incredible career, but you have to start thinking how much this affects your psyche. Osaka's coach, Dave Taylor,
14-15.
He would have seen that draw and he would look dead at Naomi and said, this is your opportunity. This is why you're playing and this is why we're here, is to beat these types of players. If you want to be a Grand Slam champion, you have to beat them. And he would have made it a challenge. Been sitting up in that player box. He's had some pretty great
14-13.
watching his player. Of course, in 2011, he sat in that player box and watched his player, Sam Stosur, defeat Serena Williams to win a US Open title. This might be as gratifying to see such a young player, such a talent in front of him take out possibly the defending champion.
Advantage, Kerber.
I think that's close to being the most wild shot she's hit in the whole match. That normally went cross court. She stayed in the point. Some players actually struggle with that slower one out wide. Naomi loves that shot. She's going to take that down the line all day.
Well, it just might have been a fraction wide on the sideline. Kerber couldn't take the chance to stop the point and call for the chase review.
Advantage, Osaka.
Good defending champion is out, and there's a new star in town.
6-1.
Minutes. That's all it took. Renee, sum up what we have just seen, if you possibly can.
Well, I really think that Angelique Kerber walked to the net and said, "Can you please keep playing like that? Because that was unbelievable. Don't make this loss seem not worthwhile for you." How disappointing though for Angelique Kerber after 2016 that she had, winning the tournament here last year, and the memories she must have on this court to stand there with the crowd screaming and yelling the way they did on that match point, and it wasn't for her this year after what she experienced the last time she walked off of that court.
Let's hear from young Naomi.
Naomi, finally a smile. We saw you just look to your camp. You beat the defending champion, and it is the first top 10 win of your career. What does it mean to you?
It means a lot, especially since like the last time I was here. This court hasn't really been a fond memory, but now I hope like I overlap that.
For people that may not understand what you're referring to, very, very difficult experience here, third set. Explain how that loss to Madison helped propel you here to have success.
Well, more like when it was 4-1, I was walking here thinking, I really hope I don't do what I did last year. So that sort of helped me focus a lot, and of course I was playing Angelique, and I really had to concentrate a lot to play her because she's really good and she gets everything, so.
Well done. Certainly a lesson well learned with a different result. Naomi, you've joked in the past at times about how you don't really show a lot of emotion. In particular, you don't show a lot of emotion facially while you play or through points. So it's great to see you smile, but what is it that allows you to stay so flatline? And tell us, you've said this in the past, what you're feeling on the inside versus what you're showing on the outside.
Well, I've worked on that a lot. Like, I tend to scream a lot on the court. I was really calm today, so I'm happy about that. So you guys didn't really see, like, I wasn't being that crazy today.
A thorough performance, a great performance. What confidence do you have moving forward? What are your expectations, just 19 years old?
Well, I just really want to play good, and I played good today, so I just hope to carry that on to my next match.
And you will, on to the second round. Naomi, congratulations.
Thank you.